Hey all, it's Aurelius. Welcome back to the channel. All right, so in this video, you're going to learn a step-by-step process to starting your very own digital product business for $0 and next to nothing. So what you'll be learning are the steps so that you can set up your own online business. And we're not talking so much about things like drop shipping and affiliate marketing, but more so creating your own products. So if you're a content creator, a coach, or someone who wants to simply sell products online and in a digital form such as ebooks and courses, then this video is for you. In many cases that I see, beginners seem to overcomplicate and overwhelm themselves on the process of starting an online business, when in fact you can get started for next to nothing, $0, and I'll be sharing the exact tools that you can get started with in this video. But don't get overwhelmed with thinking that you need everything and all your ducks lined up to get started, because the process really is simple. It's just a matter of taking action. So with that said, let's get started. Okay, the very first step you're going to want to take is to do some basic research. You want to have an idea at least of what niche you're going to enter and what products you could potentially sell online and to your audience. I assume that you already know what your passions, hobbies, interests, or skills are, because that's a good starting point in terms of what niche you'll be entering. And some people may say, don't go for something that is based on your passion because it might not be monetizable. That's where the research comes in, of course. But a good starting ground and a good tool to start with is UberSuggest by Neil Patel. And it's free with limitations, and just like all of these free tools, there are limitations. And if you do want more results, for instance, like with UberSuggest, then you are going to upgrade. But for the most part, you're just going to use the basic options and results that it gives you. So what I've started with is calisthenics for beginners. And if you don't know what calisthenics is, it's a form of working out, right? It's a way to work out using your body weight, but that's what it is. And what I've searched for is calisthenics for beginners. And I've chosen English and location United States, since for the most part, this is what my market is. And you do a simple search. What you'll be given are the search results, such as a search volume. You've got SEO difficulty, paid difficulty, and cost per click. But what you want to look at is the search volume, and this is per month. And it's saying that there's 6,600 searches per month, which is average. And that gives you an indication as to how high, moderate, or low a particular search term is. For SEO difficulty, you can ignore this because you're not going to so much set up a website and then have that ranked up. That's a icing on the cake, but we're not so much going to focus on that because SEO does take quite a number of months to start seeing results. Paid difficulty is where the ads show on Google, and it's showing how difficult it is compared to, if you're going to enter a niche where there are lots of advertisers for a particular keyword or key term, then that's where this is indicated. And it's saying easy because not many advertisers are advertising and targeting these keywords. It does give you indication in terms of the viability on how monetizable it is as well. And cost per click, this is how much advertisers are willing to pay for per click. And the higher it is, the more competitive it is. And this does give you an indication as to how profitable a keyword or key term is. The more higher, the more difficult it is, and the more it's going to cost you, because advertisers know that in order to gain a lead, that's going to cost them X amount, but that'll convert into, let's say, $100. So if they're only paying, let's say, $5, and then that converts to $100, then that's a good return on investment, right? So people in the niche of, finance, crypto, all that's hype, costs a lot of money to advertise for. That's where the difficulty lies and how competitive a particular niche or key term may be. But not to overwhelm you, you don't need to look at all these finer details. I think the biggest thing you need to look at is the search volume. This gives you an indication. You want to see that at least some people are searching for what you want to create. This is a product, let's say an ebook or an online course that I want to create called Calisthenics for Beginners, or I want to create an online course targeting beginners in the calisthenics community. Another tool you can use to do some keyword research is called SEMRush, and this one also gives you the search volume, and they do use their own backend system and algorithm to give you these types of results. So it may not be consistent, Everything's laid out differently, as you can see, compared to UberSuggest. So it really depends what kind of layout you like as well. And it shows you the volume based on geographical location as well as global. So globally, calisthenics for beginners gets searched 15.6K times per month. It also gives you keyword ideas. So based on these keywords, people are also searching for calisthenics workout plan for beginners. So if you could create something like a workout plan, that would be ideal because it still gets searched. Another tool you could use, but more focused on YouTube search results, is VidIQ. I've been using this for many years to gather ideas on YouTube topics and titles and things like that. And it's been a game changer because of VidIQ. So for instance, you could use the keyword tool, enter the keyword. So I've just entered calisthenics for beginners once again, and you'll see the keyword results as well as related keywords. And you'll see the search volume. So calisthenics for beginners on YouTube gets searched over 255,000 times. You'll also be able to see related keywords. So anything related to calisthenics for beginners, like learn calisthenics or how to start calisthenics for beginners, at-home workouts, body weight training, calisthenics exercises. And again, this gives you more ideas on what kind of articles, content pieces even, and an online course you could create. And by the way, VidIQ is the exception. It is a paid tool. However, you can sign up for free, but get limited results. However, if you want full results like what you see here with all the keywords and ideas, then you can use the dedicated page below, and there's a link in the description box so that you can get a full 30-day trial of the premium plan. This is called the Boost plan for just $1. So $1 is all you need to pay to get full access to the Boost plan. That gives you full 30 days of access. Now, if you do sign up, you can get results. You can use all the other tools as well, enter the keywords that you want. For me, at least with my YouTube channel, VidIQ is a good starting ground and a starting point to give me ideas and topics to talk about. But in our case, we are looking to create offers such as online courses, ebooks, and other digital products. But again, this is just a good starting ground. Another free research tool, and one that I feel is underrated, is Google Trends. So Google Trends, how it works is you enter a search term. What I've put in is calisthenics. So we're talking of a keyword that has a more broader sense so that I can see the actual trend of calisthenics. I've made sure to select worldwide as opposed to a geographical location and in the past 5 years so that I can see the trend and where it's gone from the starting point all the way to date. And based on this graph, it is on a incline trend. It's not so much like a crazy hype trend, but it's consistent, right? So this is a niche that I could say to myself, it's sustainable, it's long-term, there's good longevity in this niche if I want to enter it. You could also compare it to something like home workout. Let's do a quick search. And you'll see interest over time. Home workout, the search term at least, has more interest than calisthenics. So people on Google are searching for home workout as opposed to calisthenics. But it does give you, again, a good indication on the trend. All right, another way to do some research is to look at the marketplace. Look on places like Udemy if you want to create online courses and sell online courses. In this case, I searched for calisthenics and was brought to this, how to start calisthenics for beginners. And this calisthenics instructor has been selling this and has 1,599 students who have enrolled and bought this. So it gives you an indication as to, yeah, people are interested in this, they are buying it. And this is the course curriculum and the contents that he's got in his course. Down below, you'll see other related courses. And right here, it says students also bought body weight workout, and there's like 11,290 students that took this, and that's a high number right there. I mean, you do the math. This is in Australian dollars, but US is about something like 35 US dollars. You know, multiply that by 11,290. Not exactly sure, but yeah, you go ahead and work it out. So this instructor with this particular online course is sold 11,290 times, as you saw. But if I go to his profile, you can see that overall he's got over 72,000 students from his 6 courses. other ways to do some research is to do the obvious, and that is to simply look online. Look on social media platforms such as Instagram, TikTok. You've got Threads now too, as well as, of course, YouTube. Look in particular at the comments that people are placing on those videos that are related to your topic, niche, whatever you want to create. And that gives you a very good indication in terms of what people are struggling with, what their challenges are, what they're asking, and the demand. If people are liking that particular comment, that gives you an indication that other people have that issue, that problem, or that question. So don't rely so much on using these keyword tools, which is a good starting point, but it's all based on metrics and analytics. At the end of the day, you will be selling to humans and the people, the audience on these platforms. Hopefully by now I've given you the resources and tools to do some proper research before moving on to the next step. And I hope that you can see the importance of doing the proper research and planning, because if you don't do it, then you're going to basically go ahead blindly. All right, step 2 is the creation phase, and you want to create based on the research that you did in the previous step. If you're going to create a course on calisthenics for beginners, for instance, and you have kind of validated that and you're thinking, yeah, this is a product that I want to create, this is an ebook I want to create in particular, then you can move on to the next step. And what I'll be showing you is how to create an ebook in Canva. I'm not going to go through every single step. I've got a ton of videos on how to actually create one in Canva. I'll link it all up in the description box below for that, so you can go through it step by step. But what I want to show you is once you log into your Canva account, you do a simple search for document, right? So we'll search for document. And what you'll see is an option to click on documents, and this will bring you to the document templates. This sometimes does come under A4 document and also US letter size. So it depends what size you want. There's no one size fits all, and you can lay out your ebook in an A4 format or a US letter size. You could even do it in a landscape. It really depends what you're trying to illustrate in your ebook. If you have images that need to be in a landscape format, then yeah, look for a landscape document instead right here. But this is where we can begin and select a template to our liking. Do note that there are some paid templates here indicated with the little crown icon showing Pro, but feel free to look through the other templates which may interest you. And if you hover over some of them, you'll see the contents of those templates. Even if you look at a template and you're saying, oh yeah, it's not to my aesthetics, not to my liking, then you could still use it, and it's a good foundation to start with. So let's say we like this one here. I'll click once, click on customize this template. We can start by replacing the image. So we could go to photos, and if you don't see photos, you just need to add the Photos app to the navigation on the left here. So simply search for photos or find it right here, and that'll place it right here. I'm going to search for calisthenics so we can see what images come up. Do note there are some paid photos as well, indicated with the crown icon once again, but if you take a look at this one here, it doesn't. So what you can easily do is just drag and drop the photo to the existing, and that'll replace it. And the rest is pretty simple. Replace anything you do want to edit, and in most cases you will need to. So we'll say calisthenics, and we'll say for beginners, and you can of course just replace or resize the text so that it fits or is aligned the way you want. Something like that, and you could go and play around with different font styles depending on the look that you want. Instead of the URL down here, I can just put by the author name, which is, I'll just put in my name here. Continue with the rest of the pages, filling in the details, replacing the photos, and you can create the ebook the way you want. If I'm creating a calisthenics workout plan and I want to show people how to actually do the move, I can simply use one of these pages and let's say how to do a handstand, and this is what I want to teach them. So it's as simple as that, and changing the title as well, how to handstand, all right, and just replacing or also resizing, and then putting the image right there, and then putting the instructions on what to do. So in this case, we've got step 1, do this or that. and we're going to progress from a handstand, doing certain exercises to get to that goal. But if you want a comprehensive step-by-step tutorial on how to create an ebook, again, do look in the description box below where there are a few resources for you to go through. I do want to point out that we do have AI. In this case, we've got ChatGPT to assist us if you ever need assistance on, let's say, coming up with a table of contents. So I could very easily go into ChatGPT and say, I want to give them an idea in terms of what I'm creating. So I'm creating a calisthenics ebook for beginners. Could you provide an example table of contents? In a realistic scenario, I would go into more detail so that ChatGPT will give me a better result for my table of contents, but let's just use this in this example. And here's what it's coming up with for me. So calisthenics for beginners, and we've got introduction, understanding, setting up your workout routine, essential exercises, and more. So this is pretty good starting ground. And we can play around with this, of course. And with anything that AI produces, I would definitely customize it and not just leave it as is. So feel free to use AI to your advantage. Use it whenever you're stuck with content or ideas. And the last thing you want to do is put everything on a halt. And because if something is stopping you, then it's not a good thing, right? You want to continue going and keeping the momentum going. But once you're done with your product, it's a matter of downloading the guide, and there's an option to click on download, and you want to select PDF as an option as opposed to PNG or image, and then click on download. And that's the product creation phase. All right, so step 3 is the platform to use to sell your digital product. And in this case, I'm going to first start with Gumroad as one of the most obvious ones. Now, the downfall right off the bat is that they do charge a 10% fee, flat fee it is, on top of the fees that they charge for PayPal and Stripe use and the payment processing fee. So it's about 3% from my understanding. So you're going to pay something like 13% at the end of the day for every single sale that you make. So something important to keep in mind, especially if you're going for volume. And if you're thinking that if you're doing a product launch, you're going to make a large amount of sales, then yeah, that's something to consider. But I will say the interface is really easy and intuitive to use. You simply enter your product name, select what type of product you're creating, such as a digital product, a course or ebook, set your price, and then go through the other steps later on. In addition, Gumroad does feature this kind of marketplace, which they call Discover, and your product could be potentially featured here and recommended whenever someone purchases a similar product, but there's no guarantee. At the end of the day, you still need to do the marketing and selling and promoting of your own product, because they're not just going to feature it right here where it says recommended for you or staff picks. You do need to at least make a couple of sales to show that, yeah, this is a legit product. And there are some criteria that you actually need to meet in order to get your product listed in the Gumroad Discover marketplace. Okay, the next platform where you can host your product is on Payhip. Payhip's very similar, and it's actually a competitor to Gumroad. The difference is with the features, of course, and its pricing where it's less. So you're only going to pay 5% transaction fee in addition to the PayPal and or Stripe fee that they charge. So you're looking at about 8% fee per sale. Otherwise, you could upgrade to one of its monthly plans, saving you on the transaction fees. So 2% versus 5%, or the Pro being no transaction fee, but you still need to pay the PayPal/Stripe fee. The interface is simple as well to use, and you select what you want to sell, such as a digital product or course, and the process is very similar. You upload the product. In this case, we created an ebook. You upload that product file, that PDF file, complete the rest of the details, adding your product image, enter your description, and publish your product. What I do like about Payhip versus Gumroad is that they've got this flexible store builder. So you can customize your store to your liking, just like what you see here. On the left is where you can control the products that show. You can also change the header. You've got the footer, add a different section, as well as different pages on your Payhip store. So you got collections page, you got different pages that you can also create. So if you've got an about me page, you can create that here. You can even change the store style, going from different colors, fonts, buttons, and other elements on your page, as well as different themes as well. I can click on switch to another theme and go from this default one to one of these other ones, as you can see. Another platform you could use is called LemonSqueezy. Their pricing is similar to Payhip's, where it's 5%, but there's just a simple 50-cent per transaction fee as opposed to that 2.9 fee that PayPal and Stripe adds. The product process is a lot simpler and there's not much flexibility, and that's one of the cons of using LemonSqueezy. Enter the product name, give it a little description, which is quite limited, and you can't really do much in terms of formatting. You can bold things, you can make italics, things like that, but that's about it. And choose your pricing and a few other things like adding your PDF file right here. But what I do like about LemonSqueezy is that they are considered a merchant of record, meaning they are resellers of your product and they handle all the payments. And that's what they heavily focus on. Fully automated sales tax compliance. So they handle the tax based on your customer's location and their tax regulations. Any disputes, chargebacks, and things like that, LemonSqueezy takes care of. LemonSqueezy does hold your funds and they pay out every 2 weeks, so twice a month, whereas with Gumroad, I think it's every 7 days. And with Payhip, they don't have that holding system. You simply integrate your Stripe or PayPal account and then the funds go directly into your account. Gumroad can also do this as well if you integrate your PayPal account. A common question I get is, can I just upload my product to all of these platforms, Gumroad, Payhip, and LemonSqueezy and other platforms? The answer is no, it's not going to make a difference. Just because you've created your product and uploaded it, it doesn't mean that people will magically come and see and buy your product. You, at the end of the day, still have to do the marketing and sales and promotion of your product so that you can sell it. Yes, there are marketplaces such as Etsy and Redbubble where you can list your products and potentially make sales, but the chances of that is very low because you still need to make some sales in order to have Etsy and Redbubble push your product up in the listings and those results. So you still need to make those sales. To answer that question, right, I wouldn't bother uploading your product to all of the platforms. It's just going to overwhelm you. And rather than doing that, you want to consolidate and have everything on one platform. So choose one of the platforms out of the 3 that I recommend. And so you're just focusing on that and leading your audience, your people, and your potential customers to that one store. Okay, so at this point, you've done your research and planning, you've created your product and you've put it and you've selected a platform to sell your product. The next step is to actually promote and sell your product. And this is where the hard part really is, because as much as I'd like to say, yeah, sales will start coming as soon as you create a product, that really isn't the case, because again, you need to promote your product. And in order to do that, the best way is to start creating content based on your niche. Creating content costs $0, and it really just is a game of consistency, persistence, and a bit of a waiting game, because it's not like just because you posted 1 or 2 pieces of content on, let's say, Instagram or YouTube, that viewers and people will start coming and seeing your store. It's not the case. You have to keep going. You may take 100 posts, you may take 200 posts. For me, on my YouTube channel at least, I didn't make a breakthrough until something like 100 videos. So that first 100 pieces of content may be the hardest, but I'd say that it's probably the most important, because that's where the learnings come. That's where you'll fail and then you get back up and learn from that. You'll know what topics will resonate with your audience and you do more of that. But let's go and take a look at some ways on how I do it with content. Firstly, on Instagram. Instagram isn't my heaviest and the biggest platform that I focus on, as you know, because I am on YouTube predominantly, and we'll discuss that later on. But on Instagram in particular, I'm posting here and there. It's not consistent. I did mention, yeah, consistency does matter. I do want to be more consistent on Instagram, but you just need to find that platform that you feel suits your vibe, suits your personality, and where you feel natural of, creating content. You could feel more natural creating content in words, right? So that's where articles and Medium comes in, and Threads, which is a new platform for posting kind of text-based short messages like Twitter. So you got to find that platform that makes it more natural for your way of creating. So if Instagram's a thing, then yeah, go ahead and create Instagram posts, which is in the form of photos or images and quotes. You could even go with Instagram Reels, which is more moving and with video, that is. You could create Instagram carousels where there's quite a few number of slides that one can go through and view. So as you can see, there are many forms of creating content on Instagram in particular. Now, where people will actually see your product and your store is in your bio. So if you click on my link in the bio, it actually goes to a link in bio page where it features multiple links of mine. Viewers will be able to see my latest video as well as signing up to my newsletter and my products, right? So I've got my master YouTube content planner. I've got my 50 digital product ideas PDF guide that people can buy me a coffee or donate. And this is how you can feature your product and promote it. So your content, whenever you talk about it, you could have a call to action in the description of your post. Okay, so your post is right here, and then you could have a CTA or call to action that says, go to my link in bio to get the guide or to learn more. You repeat the cycle by creating more content on Instagram. And the only thing I don't like about Instagram is that it's all about relevancy and recency. So you have to keep spinning the wheels, and this cycle is kind of vicious in a way, is what I call it, because you have to keep creating content, right? Whereas with YouTube, it's a little more evergreen, or I'd say a lot more evergreen, because you create that video once and then you could potentially continue getting views for many years down the road. So that right there is a simple Instagram strategy that you could follow. It's nothing groundbreaking, right? It's just a matter of creating content and then nurturing that audience that you build so that you gain that like, that trust, and people lead to that offer of yours. Whereas on my YouTube, I feature links in the description of my videos. So let's say this one right here, the YouTube SEO course. This is the video, and where I monetize is right here in the description. So people can get a trial of VidIQ for $1, which I mentioned earlier in this video. And down below are my other links. And surprisingly, these links do get clicks. A past video that I posted about 5 AI tools to turn text to videos generated quite a number of links to each of those 5 tools. So each of them gained something anywhere from 2,000 to 5,000 clicks. So that right there does show that it's proven, right? Many people do look at the description and then they go to that link that you referred to. Continuing on with the description, you'll see tools and gear I use, which takes them to my shop and the tools. I've got recommended tools, which are affiliate links, but again, this could be a link directly to your offer on Payhip or on Gumroad or on LemonSqueezy. At the end of the day, it is a matter of consistently posting content. So choose a platform: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I love YouTube because of that evergreen element to it, whereby, you know, I've got some of my popular videos. This one's gained 4.3 million. This one right here, 1.5, I posted 2 years ago, and it still gets views. And I'm not saying that you have to be on camera to start a YouTube channel. In fact, many YouTube channels that have done well, over 100,000 subscribers, have created a faceless YouTube channel where it's simply educational, it's all presentation based. And with the addition of AI, you could use an AI voiceover to voice over that text or that slide or that presentation of yours. And it's worth noting again, if you are going to pursue YouTube, then it's a good idea to use a tool like VidIQ to do some research on those keywords. And as I said, many of my videos that you see here that have done well are because of doing that proper research using VidIQ. I know exactly what keywords to target, such as how to change the color of an imported image. And those are some keywords I extracted from my research using VidIQ, and this one alone has gained 233,000 views. Traffic, in other words, your audience and your customers are the lifeblood of your business. So focus on creating content so you can start building that following, that subscriber base, and nurture them, ensuring that you take care of them and not just posting content for the sake of it. And once you do build that trust, and if your offer is good, people will buy it. As you can tell by now, work is required, effort is required, and also patience, because it's not like just because you know how to create a product, you got it up there on one of the platforms that people will magically come and you'll start making sales. But hopefully I've given you a clear system, an outline that you can follow step by step, as opposed to overwhelming yourself with all these strategies and tactics that you've learned from other people, and then that results to procrastinating and just not getting started. So I've shown you the tools, I've given you the resources to get started for free, $0. And as you saw, there are options to upgrade to paid plans, which gives you more results, things like that. But essentially, you don't need all that to get started. You can get started for free using the tools and choose which platform you want. Don't use all 3 platforms that I mentioned, such as Gumroad, Payhip, and LemonSqueezy. Just choose one. The most important thing you can do right now is to take that first step. Take that first step in doing that ideation, doing that research, and then from that, the following steps just come naturally easy. But that's all from me. Hope this video was helpful, and if it was, by all means, give this video a thumbs up. In the meantime, I will leave up a couple of relevant videos for you to watch here and here, as well as all in the description box below, and all the tools and resources that I mentioned in this video. Talk soon, and do take care.